getting stronger, so much wiser. Won't you please listen to my song? There is no way I could ever turn back now. Won't you please listen to my song? La 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 la. Listen to my song. Welcome back to Nellascope. I'm your host, Chris Nella. I'm a singer, producer, songwriter, author, composer, and a super dad. The purpose for Nellascope, the podcast, was to empower creatives to win with their brand. And the format of the show is simple. Let me lay it out. Let me put all my cards on the table. Every show will have my favorite section, my favorite segment, Indie Fire. Then we'll have a weekly topic that we'll discuss and really dive into. And then we'll end the show with moments to be inspired by. Let's get into today's topic. The topic for today is, oh, you fancy, huh? What not to do once you become successful in the music business. But before we get into today's topic, it's time for that smoking, piping hot Indie Fire. Our first Indie Fire segment comes from King B, my little bro, King Brody. This song has been requested. I've read the DMs, I read the emails. The Nella Nation wants to hear it again. So here it is. You guys have requested it. So Simple, featuring King B, the late great Tim Das. I'm Chris Nella. This is Nellascope, the podcast. Enjoy.
Now it could be so simple, yeah. At times we try too hard, yeah. And I put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it, yeah. And I've been on my grind 'cause I'm trying to get it. Now it could be so simple. At times we try too hard. And I put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it, yeah. And I've been on my grind 'cause I'm trying to get it.
Was all a dream, another youngin' from the projects. Beating on the table, always knew I was a prospect. Started from the bottom where the killers pulling tops back. Used to be that little jit, saying I'ma cop that. Convertible drop with the bug eyes. Always been a ladies man, never was a tough guy. I was writing rhymes, ain't had no time to puff lie. I was bumping Biggie and all the ghetto alumni. I was plotting heavy cause everybody was dumb fly. 2020 vision be had to turn on my third eye. Live from the jungle, we rumble, nobody fight fair. Dreams disappear when you suffocate in your nightmare. Standing in the paint, I'm here, ain't going nowhere. Fred stairs, get you G-checked like you some Nike Air. Nasty with the flow, no rookie, I'm talking light years. 10 toes down, no cap, I'm standing right here.
Simple, yeah. At times we try too hard, yeah. And I put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it, yeah. And I've been on my grind 'cause I'm trying to get it. Now it could be so simple. At times we try too hard. And I put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it, yeah. And I've been on my grind 'cause I'm trying to get it.
I remember days and nights we grind smarter. G4 charter, flows was a little harder. Knew I run the game like Nino and Wayne Carter. Never had money, but I perfected the barter. Had a blueprint, but we was cooking on the come up. Thug motivation, we were grinding for the one up. Do this for my dog, just want him to put the guns up. Got it from the dirt, so ain't nobody gon' run us. Teflon Dons respond, we gon' cut up. Cut from a whole different cloth, who gon' touch us? I ain't signed a deal with the label, they try and cuff us. Modern day oppression, they want wanna just see us suffer. Back in my bag, I'm taxing, I had enough of. Put them in their place if they thinking they tougher. Used to hate us then, but now they saying they love us. Used to throw shade, but I'm going back undercover.
So simple, yeah. At times we try too hard, yeah. And I put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it, yeah. And I've been on my grind, 'cause I'm trying to get it. Now it could be so simple. At times we try too hard, yeah. And I put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it, yeah. And I've been on my grind, 'cause I'm trying to get it, yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. That was So Simple. That song is so special because the instrumentation of that song, King B's flow, Tim Dawson's lyrics, it is the perfect combination for a great song. Make sure you check that song out daily. Get yourself amped up. So guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. Or you fans, huh? We're going to talk about what not to do once you become successful in the music business. You've all seen people be from the hood and then all of a sudden they get one hit song and they different. They eat caviar and filet mignon when you know for a fact y'all kicked it with ramen noodles and Spam. But we're going to talk about things not to do when you become successful in the music business. And this applies to any creative field. When you start slinging those books, when you start selling those houses up in the ones and the twos and the 3 millions, these are some simple steps of what not to do once you become successful. Number 1, do not spend your first real check. To be successful in the music business or any business for that matter, you have to plan ahead fiscally, which means you got to put your money away now. Now that you're depending on the ears and the hearts of your fans to keep a steady stream of income, you have to be smart. Because here's the facts. You may not always have a hit song or a best-selling book that generates revenue. Now I know you're saying, but what about my immediate needs? I know there may be immediate needs. Please, by all means, address them. And let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. There may be very light splurging as a reward for your hard work. However, when you get your first royalty check or your first tour check or your first check for whatever, your book, your painting, you are literally losing money by the second when you get that first check, unless you have your next song, book, or painting, or play, or movie already planned out. If you haven't invested in your future already by planning out the next hot thing, you're losing money every single second. So my thing is, you want to invest back into your number one priority, which is you, which is your brand and your product. Because guys, the entertainment field is extremely fickle. At 1 minute, you could be on top of the world, number one on Billboard, every chart around the world. And then you come out with another song thinking it's a banger and you won't make it even in the top 500. So my point is, you never know. So do not spend your first real check. There needs to be some planning ahead fiscally and also where it comes to your creative arts. So don't allow the zeros, and hopefully, I hope there are a lot of zeros. Hopefully there'll be a lot of zeros, but don't let them knock you off square. You have to keep investing in your future. You have to keep investing in your brand, and you do that by continuing to make quality product just like you did to get this big fat check with all those zeros. So don't stop. Do not stop. Keep it going. So that's number one. Don't spend your first real check. Number two, the number two thing, what not to do once you become successful. Do not act different. Let me explain. Here's the facts. your money, your status, your access to the finer things in life can change your mindset. Now, you heard what I said. It can change your mindset to think that you're an island out by yourself, but that is never the case. Because like the old folks say, be careful to those people that you see on your climb up, because you may see the very same people on your fall, your plummet down. Do not allow yourself to act different from the person that you are. Now, let me explain to you what I mean by acting different. If you see a friend that you were in high school with, and you guys were actually friends, as in hanging together, kicking it, having fun, playing a little Madden, you guys were actually friends. You loaned him money, he loaned you money. You were over his house, he was over your house. You guys were actually friends. However, your friend sees you out and tries to dap you up, and you kind of just look at him and instead of giving him a real pound, you kind of give him a far away pound, and it's all slow and hesitant because of the simple fact that's a part of your past. And in some cases, I've seen it before. You don't want to be seen with your past. You don't want to see yourself as a beacon of hope from your past. You want to see yourself as already elevated. That is the wrong way to do it. If I go back to Atlanta right now, if I go to Candler Road right now, if I go to Columbia High right now, I'm Gucci, because of the simple fact, from the same way that they knew me at Columbia High School, I'm always the same Chris Nella. Never let your change of status, your change of access to create in your mind that you're better than anybody from your past. Because here's the fact. You were there in the trenches together. Now, one of y'all got out. You guys were broke. You were poor. You were hungry. You were struggling together. Now you get out and you forget about the trench that you guys built together. It shouldn't be that way. If anything, if this person is a legit person, if this person is a person with integrity in some form or fashion, you should be able to converse with them. You should be able to put them on your team. If they have the skills, they should be worth more than a fully extended pound. They should be a good dap, a hug, a 25, 30-minute conversation. They should not be your unbearable past. They should be a reminder of where you came from. And to them, you should be a beacon of where they can go. So just like they say, each one teach one, I'm going to say each one reach one. Now again, let me put the disclaimer on that. If your friend is a knucklehead, if your friend is a pure goofball, you have to space yourself away from that. Let's be honest. If your friend is out in these streets doing God knows what, you have to make the necessary precautions for your brand, for your family, and for your investment. But if you know this guy is a legit person, you guys have slept in the same house. He knows your mama. You know his mom, his auntie, them. Every cookout, you were at each other's house. And if you know they possess the skills, the charisma, the know-how, and they know you. Here's a good point. They know you. So they can always see what's best for you because of the simple fact they know your intentions because they were there when you had nothing. So they see past the brand. They see the actual you. So for all of my musicians, to all of my people, to all of my creatives, do not act different. Let people from your past, the ones that are skillful, the ones that are knowledgeable, the ones that are representable, the ones that can be professional, let them help propel your brand because of how much they know you. They're gonna always keep it 100 because if it's your boy, if it's your girl, those millions of dollars mean absolutely nothing. They still see you as that person on their sofa for weeks, and they're going to keep it 100 because they see the real you. So let that be a lesson to you. Do not act different once you become successful in the music business. So we got number 1, do not spend your first real check. Number 2, do not act different. And number 3, I hear this quite often, do not charge more out of spite when you blow up. Do not charge more out of spite when you blow up. Now, let's be honest. If you have a hot song or a hot product, whatever your product may be, you can actually charge more because of a simple fact. you're in demand. If you're getting airplay, if you're getting video play, if you're getting requested to do interviews, if your media and print is popping off on all websites and all blogs, of course there's going to be a premium cost for your appearance. However, I would recommend against. I've heard people say, well, when I get on, they overlooked me, and sadly, it mostly happens in our own city, around our own constituents, around our own family. But they say out of spite, oh, when I get on, whenever they need me to come perform, I'm going to charge them double, maybe even triple. I strongly recommend against that, because that is coming from a place of pure spite. It's not coming from a business point of view. It's not coming where it'll be advantageous to your brand. It's coming from, just be honest, hurt feeling. Wouldn't recommend it. Now, what I would do, judge how hot you are. Judge your hotness and charge them accordingly, because of the simple fact they did pass you up. That inside track, that inside circle that was once there, they don't have that anymore. This is a business transaction. And the reason why I let you know that, because they're going to try to appeal to you on that fact. Yeah, God, remember when we were back in the day? Yeah, we had fun. But for me to do a feature, here's my set price. And just be quiet. Because of the simple fact, you had your opportunity to invest in my brand, and you did not. So now, instead of this being a meeting of minds, of friends, of family, right now, this is just another business transaction to me. A market rate business transactions, mind you. Do not charge more because of what they did to you. That's coming from a bad place, and eventually it will blow up in your face. But because of the status that they lost, by all means, charge them market rate for your book. Charge them market rate to do a feature with you, because of the simple fact they made their decision. So you have to make your decision and stick with it. But again, please come from the point of a businessman or businesswoman, not from your hurt past feeling. So number 1, do not spend your first real check. Number 2, do not act different. Number 3, do not charge more out of spite when you blow up. And number 4, do not blow your money. And it's real simple. Do not blow your money. Let me really dig into that. Purchase assets. Do not purchase liabilities. Now we're going to go deep into some financial terms. Liabilities. A liability is anything that causes an outflow of money from your pocket. What you want to do is acquire assets. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket on a regular basis or generates income. So these fancy cars and things of the sort, they're not assets. These big houses, a house in every state, those are not assets. They are grade A liabilities. You really want to be careful with what you spend, because again, guys, it goes with number 1. When the money is flowing, you should be putting it somewhere where your money can make you money. There was a old school reverend who used to have a saying, money making money, money making money, money making money. So therefore, you want to put yourself in a situation that your money can make you money. There are many financial advisors. They can tell you where to invest. They can tell you what has the best turnover, which means the best return on your money in the shortest time or the longest time. But whatever you do, consider assets over liabilities. I know you're saying, well, I'm young, Chris, and I want to ball out a little bit. That's fine. As I said at number 1, if you have immediate needs, baby need a new pair of shoes, light bill due, that's fine. I want a big screen TV. I want an Xbox. I want a PlayStation. Those are fine. But be mindful, light splurging as a reward is acceptable. But in the same token, you want your money to look as good as it does now 10 years from now. When you look at your bank account 5 years from now, you want to see some additional zeros because of the money that you have now. The money that came into your hands, I would say, and this is just my personal recommendation, for every $3 that goes out, 1 should be invested. And that is loose compared to some of these financial advisors and what they recommend. But for my Nella Nation, for my artists, for my new real estate agents, for my authors, you have to plan ahead fiscally. So for every $3 that go out, one should be saved. I want to help you. Again, here on Neloscope, what we do, we empower creatives to live their best life and win with their brand. So I want to give you some advice of what I think you should do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional stockbroker. This is just life. This is just life. This is just knowledge speaking. I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I am here to make sure that you can avoid the pitfalls and make your grind 100 times smoother. So we got number 1, do not spend your first real check. Number 2, do not act different. Number 3, do not charge more out of spite when you blow up. Number 4, do not purchase liabilities. Instead, purchase assets. And number 5, do not think that you have arrived when you have only scratched the surface to what you could really be as a creative. I've seen many of people really let this affect them. I know a couple of people that were some strong one-hit wonders because of this right here, thinking they arrived. The one hit was a multi-platinum, or it may be even 4 times platinum. You have not arrived. You cannot rest on your laurels, as they say in the old school. You've arrived at a place, but hear my heart, there is so much more than what you presented to the world. Think about that. You know you can dig deeper. You know you can go deep down inside yourself and pull out pure gold. Now, again, when I'm not putting what you've created down, I just want you to be at peace with you. I want you creative, you listening right now. I want you to be the very best real estate agent you can be, the very best playwright you can be, the very best author you can be. You may be sitting in immense success right now as we speak. Doesn't matter. You can give more to this art that you love, to this passion that you have deep down inside that won't let you sleep at night because you're so in love with it. You can give more. Whatever you're doing now, as fantastic as it is, I know and you know you have only scratched the surface. So do not think that you've arrived and this is good enough to hold you for 1, 2, 5, 10 years, because it will not. The market will change on you so fast it'll make your head spin around. But what you have to do is always give the people all of you. That's what gives me great joy to do this podcast each and every week. That's why I believe I can be the #1 music podcast in the world, because of what's deep down inside of me. I love music. I love seeing that brightness in people's eyes when they're doing what they love and they're loving what they do. Guys, I hope these steps helped you regardless of where you are in the journey. If you're extremely successful, or if you're setting out and your mind is set to really make a difference in your community, in the music world, in the art world, in the playwright world, I hope you hear this podcast. And if you've heard this podcast and you know that you know somebody that could be positively affected by it, I'm challenging you, each and every one of you, to share this podcast. Give this to them directly. Now, you can't force it down their throat, but you can let them know this will help you. Get out there and win. Carpe diem, my friends. And now it's time for Moments to be Inspired By. This is my favorite segment. This is the segment where I give real life experiences, things that help propel me to the next level. I hope these quotes are empowering to you. I hope they are making a difference in your life. The quote for this episode is one of my favorites. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. Again, accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. And that was Moments to be Inspired By. Nella Nation, Season 2, Episode 8. It's a wrap. Guys, I'd like to thank you so much for listening to me every week. I hope that this is making a difference. I love to read your emails. I love to read your DMs. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram at Nellascope. That's NELLASCOPE. Drop me a DM and I'll be more than glad to respond. Today's Indie Fire was So Simple by King B featuring Tim Das. That song is available on all streaming platforms. The topic for today was, oh, you fans, huh? We talked about some things not to do once you become successful. We ended off today's podcast with a great moments to be inspired by. Now, Nella Nation, the challenge for this week is every day 50 new listeners. So that means if you haven't already shared the podcast, share the podcast on a personal level. Send who you believe will actually get some benefit out of this. Send it to their phone, send it to their email. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Give them the actual link, make it easy for them to click one time. Because as you know, this premium content, once they hear it once, they're going to realize that this is where I need to be. And as always, we're on the drive to become the #1 music podcast in the world. Thank you to all of my listeners around the world and here in the United States of America. We have some very important times coming up. Make sure you get out and vote. Love on yourself. Be kind to one another. And God loves you. He's not mad at you. He's madly in love with you. Let that soak into your spirit. And I'll see you next week where we talk about how to successfully build your squad. It's your man, Chris Nella. I'll see you next week, and I'm gone.